I turn to Mom. Maybe you shouldn't let Teddy drink so much coffee. I've switched him to decaf, Mom volleys back. He's just naturally exuberant. As long as you're not switching me to decaf, I say.
I
That would be
want to
child
tell
abuse,
you,
Dad says.
all you
Mom hands
old
me a
timers,
steaming mug and the newspaper.
and some
There's a
of you
nice
who
picture of your
are
young man in there,
just
she
feel
says.
like you're old timers,
Really? A picture?
but
Yep. It's
I,
about the
I
most
just
we've seen of him since
downloaded
summer, Mom says, giving me a
audiobooks from
sidelong glance with
Amazon,
her eyebrow arched,
and you're
her version
listening.
of
The
a
soundtrack
soul-searching
on
stare.
this
I
is from a
know,
book
I say, and then,
called
without
If
meaning
I
to, I
Leave,
sigh. Adam's band,
and I'm
Shooting
amazed
Star,
at the
is on an
quality
upward
of the
spiral,
sound,
which is a
and I
great
put it
thing,
with some,
mostly. Ah, fame,
what
wasted
did
on
I
the
call
youth,
them?
Dad says, but he's smiling. I know he's excited for
Minimal,
Adam,
minimal,
proud even.
minimal cube. So I call
I
them
leaf through
mini
the
cube,
newspaper to the calendar
mini
section.
cube,
There's a small blurb
mini
about Shooting
cubed
Star with an even smaller picture of the four of
images,
them, next to a big article about
and
Bikini and a huge picture of the
this
band's lead
is
singer,
a
punk
promotion
rock
I will
diva
do to
Brooke
tell
Vega.
my old timer
The bit
friends
about them basically says that local
about
band Shooting Star is opening for
Amazon
Bikini on the Portland leg of
and
Bikini's
the
national
audio
tour.
book.
It doesn't mention
I
the
thought for
even
a
bigger
while
to
I was
me
really going to
news
have to
that
get into
last
audio
night
books
Shooting Star headlined at a
when I
club in
lost my
Seattle
left eye,
and, according to the
and
text
for
Adam
90
sent me at
days was
midnight, sold out the
virtually
place.
blind.
Are you going tonight? Dad
But
asks. I was planning to.
we
It
will
depends if they shut down the whole state on account of the snow.
get this going.
It is
The,
approaching a
the
blizzard,
name,
Dad
another
says,
reason I got
pointing to a
this was
single
that
snowflake
there's
floating its
another
way to the
book that
earth.
I bought right away,
I'm also
and that was
supposed to
the
rehearse with
book
some pianist from the college that
that
Professor Christie dug up. Professor
told the
Christie, a retired
story
music teacher at the
of,
university who I've been working with for the
uh,
last few years, is always looking for
this is where I
victims for me to
leave
play
you.
with. Keep you
And
sharp
I've
so
said
you
a
can
lot
show all
about
those
that on some
Juilliard
other
snobs how
videos,
it's
but I
really
want to
done,
go
she
and say that
says.
when
I
I got
haven't
to the
gotten into
end of
Juilliard
that,
yet, but my audition went really
it
well.
seemed to
The Bach
me
Suite
that the
and the
person
Shostakovich
that
had
the
both
movie
flown out
was
of me like never
saying,
before, like my fingers were just an
all of a
extension of the
sudden,
strings
just
and
by
bow.
changing your
When I finished
attitude a
playing,
bit,
panting, my legs shaking from
you
pressing
can
together so
solve your
hard,
problems.
one judge had
And it's
clapped a
saying
little,
something that
which
I
I
have
guess
had
doesn't happen very often.
a
As I'd
strong
shuffled out,
feeling
that
might be
same
very
judge had told
true,
me
and
that
that
it had been
is,
a long time since the school had seen an Oregon country girl.
we
Professor Christie
create
had taken that to mean a guaranteed
a lot
acceptance.
of our
I
own
wasn't so sure that was
problems.
true, and I wasn't
Our
100% sure that
pain
I
is
wanted it to be true.
self-inflicted, in other words.
Just like with Shooting Star's
And
meteoric
so
rise,
I
my
wanted to,
admission to
I
Juilliard,
bought
if
that
it
book
happens,
on
will
audio,
create certain
and I'm going to listen to
complications,
it and see
or,
if
more
the writer
accurately,
of the
would
novel by
compound the
that name
complications that have already
was
cropped
the
up in the
one who
last few
was
months. I need
who
more
put
coffee.
that brilliant
Anyone else?
spin on the
Mom
end of it,
asks, hovering over me with the
or
ancient percolator.
was it the
I sniff
screenwriter?
the coffee, the
But
rich,
anyway,
black,
I'll check
oily
that out,
French
and
roast we
maybe
all
if it's
prefer.
interesting enough,
The
I'll do
smell alone perks me up.
uh,
I'm pondering going back to
another
bed, I say. My
video
cello's at school, so I
on
can't
that
even
subject.
practice. Not
Well, I'll let you
practice?
go. This is
For
only 7 minutes,
24 hours, be still my
and
broken heart, Mom
I'm
says.
out of here.
Though
Adios.
she has
What
acquired a
day, huh?
taste for classical music over the years, it's like learning to appreciate a stinky cheese. She's been a not always delighted captive audience for many of my marathon rehearsals. I hear a crash and a boom coming from upstairs. Teddy is pounding on his drum kit. It used to belong to Dad, back when he'd played drums in a big-in-our-town, unknown-anywhere-else band, back when he'd worked at a record store. Dad grins at Teddy's noise, and seeing that, I feel a familiar pang. I know it's silly, but I have always wondered if Dad is disappointed that I didn't become a rock chick. I'd meant to. Then, in 3rd grade, I'd wandered over to the cello in music class. It looked almost human to me. It looked like if you played it, it would tell you secrets. So I started playing. It's been almost 10 years now, and I haven't stopped. So much for going back to sleep, Mom yells over Teddy's noise. What do you know? The snow's already melting, Dad says, puffing on his pipe. I go to the back door and peek outside. A patch of sunlight has broken through the clouds, and I can hear the hiss of the ice melting. I close the door and go back to the table. I think the county overreacted, I say. Maybe, but they can't uncancel school. Horace is already out of the barn, and I already called in for the day off, Mom says. Indeed. But we might take advantage of this unexpected boon and go somewhere, Dad says. Take a drive. Visit Henry and Willow. Henry and Willow are some of Mom and Dad's old music friends who'd also had a kid and decided to start behaving like grown-ups. They live in a big old farmhouse. Henry does web stuff from the barn they converted into a home office, and Willow works at a nearby hospital. They have a baby girl. That's the real reason Mom and Dad want to go out there. Teddy, having just turned 8, and me being 17, means that we are long past giving off that sour milk smell that makes adults melt. We can stop at Book Barn on the way back, Mom says, as if to entice me. Book Barn is a giant, dusty old used bookstore. In the back, they keep a stash of 25-cent classical records that nobody ever seems to buy except me. I keep a pile of them hidden under my bed. A collection of classical records is not the kind of thing you advertise. I've shown them to Adam, but that was only after we'd already been together for 5 months. I'd expected him to laugh. He's such the cool guy with his pegged jeans and black low-tops, his effortlessly beat-up punk rock tees and his subtle tattoos. He is so not the kind of guy to end up with someone like me, which was why when I'd first spotted him watching me at the music studios at school 2 years ago, I'd been convinced he was making fun of me and I'd hidden from him. Anyhow, he hadn't laughed. It turned out he had a dusty collection of punk rock records under his bed. We can also stop by Gran and Gramps for an early dinner, Dad says, already reaching for the phone. We'll have you back in plenty of time to get to Portland, he adds as he dials. I'm in, I say. It isn't the lure of Book Barn, or the fact that Adam is on tour, or that my best friend Kim is busy doing yearbook stuff. It isn't even that my cello is at school, or that I could stay home and watch TV or sleep. I'd actually rather go off with my family. This is another thing you don't advertise about yourself, but Adam gets that too. Teddy, Dad calls. Get dressed. We're going on an adventure.